Hello, greetings from Hyderabad. Today's event focuses on from CMS to Composable, building a roadmap that works, presented by Augusto Davalos, hosted by Vishal and Yamini. Over to you, Augusto.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Augusto Davalos, and in the next 40, 50 minutes, I want to help you think differently about CMS, DXP, and Composable. So I am a senior project manager at Ocean Inc. For a bit more than 3 years, managing teams for a diverse portfolio of clients and projects, ranging from small Sitecore maintenance to big upgrades and migrations. I have worked in the tech industry with different platforms and tools for more than 9 years. And as I mentioned, 3 years with Sitecore. I have been in one Sitecore symposium and been I presented a session in SUG North America, and I was a co-founder of SUG Latam. So I'm really grateful for all these SUGs. I know how much effort you put into in the community to foster different knowledge, sharing, collaboration. So thank you very much for this space, Yamini and Vishal. And now getting back to topic, I don't know if you've read analyst reports or vendor blogs lately about CMS, DXP, Composable. Usually they are positioned like rivals, we can say. So you need to pick one and abandon the others, but they are not competing solutions. They are steps on a maturity journey. So today I'll show you what this journey looks like, why it matters for marketers and business leaders, and how to create roadmaps that makes sense to your organization. So no hype, no buzzwords, just strategy you can actually apply. If you can help me scanning this QR code, if you don't, let me see if I can copy this and paste it in the chat. Give me 1 second. Here's the chat. So here's the link. Please let me know if it is not working so I can work on see how to address it. Let me see. Yeah, it's working. Okay. So before we dive in, what I want to do is just do a quick check and see what you think your organization's digital experience maturity is. So please scan this QR code and vote for the option that most resembles your situation. Select CMS if you manage content, publish updates, and maybe you build some templates, but personalization is minimal. DXP or digital experience platform is if you're using personalization, you're running campaigns, A/B testing, omni-channel, and you have analytic dashboards that marketing actually looks at. And finally, if you're experimenting with Composable, so you're integrating different tools, ideally best of breed tools, maybe using headless CMS, Sitecore CDP, or another service plugged into your stack, that's excellent. So please share that with us, just to keep a current state in your stage, and we will continue revisiting this. So let's see. Just 1 second. Let me see if I'm sharing. Oh yeah, it's showing 3. Can you confirm if you've voted yet or not yet?
If you're not able to access the link, we could go for the QR code and then you can open your mobile, scan it, and it will automatically navigate you to the page.
Oh, perfect. There it is. Now we're seeing some results. I was worried it wasn't working well, the plugin. So yeah, I see that most people are in DXP, and then more or less composable and CMS. So let's just wait a little bit, see if we get any more. Okay, I think we have that. It's okay. So just one thing to point out is where you are today doesn't determine the value of your organization. It simply tells you what step you're on. So, and the beauty of the maturity model is that every organization can progress at their own space, at their own pace. And so keep in mind that this by the end of the session, so you can know what are the next steps that you should go for. Okay. So let's go usually with this, the confusion. So one of the biggest challenges I see when I work with marketing and strategy teams, or even a product owner in the team of our clients, or in some community sharing session, is that usually, as I mentioned before, analysts and vendors often frame CMS, DXP, and Composable as if they are mutually exclusive. So it feels like a shopping aisle, and do you want CMS, DXP, or Composable? And that framing leads to tension, like especially on clients, like how do I pick this? So IT wants stability, marketing wants agility, leadership wants ROI, and nobody knows which bucket to pick. But there's a perspective shift. So CMS, DXP, and Composable are not rivals, and they are these milestones on a journey. So think of the evolution of mobile phones, for example. We all started with flip phones, the good old Nokia with the snake game to beat, and they solved the problem. They make calls and text and entertain a little bit. Then the smartphone came. Suddenly you could do more with apps and internet, and now we live in an ecosystem where apps, devices, and services integrate seamlessly. That's the same journey we lived in digital experience. So CMS was the flip phone. It gave us content publishing power. DXP was the smartphone. It bundled features into one integrated platform. And Composable, that's the app ecosystem. So maximum flexibility, but it requires maturity to handle. So instead of thinking in terms of which one's better, think about where you are on this curve. CMS isn't obsolete, it's foundational. DXP is not old-fashioned. It's they're still growing the DXP, let's say, community, and Composable isn't just a fad, so something of the moment. It is a natural next stage when organizations are ready for flexibility. Let's ground this conversation a little bit more in the market context. So to get some data. So let's start with digital experience platforms or DXPs. So according to Grand View Research, the global DXP market was valued around 11.2 billion dollars, US dollars in 2022, and it is projected to grow at a compound annual rate of nearly 12% through 2030. This compound annual growth rate means that if the market kept growing steadily each year, the market could nearly triple by 2030. And that's a strong signal that demand for advanced digital experience and capabilities is increasing. At the same time, Composable is rising. Gartner has reported that, and several industry reports have quoted that by 2026, more or less 70% of enterprises will adopt Composable DXP approaches, compared to about 50% in 2023. So that doesn't mean everyone will just rip and replace overnight, but it's something that will keep that enterprises will recognize that modularity and flexibility are key to keeping the pace with customer expectations. So why is this shift? Because customer has changed. The customer behavior has changed. So 10 years ago, your digital strategy might have meant running a website and sending a monthly email. But today, customers interact across multiple touch points. So you have website, mobile, email, social, even IoT. They expect personalization, consistency, and privacy all at once. That's a big order, like a big demand for a basic CMS. And on the business side, agility is no longer negotiable. So organizations need to launch campaigns in weeks or less, and pivot when regulations shift, pivot when the market shift, and evolve platforms without costly re-platforming every few years. So data shows these two things. DXPs are still growing strongly because many organizations are still scaling integrated experiences, and Composable is also accelerating. So because enterprises are prepping for agility. So CMS, DXP, Composable, they can all coexist, but the trend line is clear. So organizations are maturing step by step, and they are all driven by customer expectations and business realities. So let's start with some CMS foundations, some basics. So content management systems, or CMS, it was built to solve one fundamental problem. It was just giving marketers control over content without relying so much on IT. So 20 years ago, updating a website often meant filling a ticket, waiting for development to get it done, and hoping the update went live before the campaign ended. So CMS changed that, and it gave us templates, publishing workflows, and the ability to manage content libraries at scale. So for many organizations, that was a revolution. Suddenly, websites became easier to manage. Content would be updated daily instead of monthly, and marketing teams finally had some autonomy. But still, CMS only took you so far. So a CMS is fantastic at managing and publishing, but it doesn't know who your visitor is, what they care for, or what their journey is about. And it can't tell you the difference between a loyal customer or a first-time visitor. The heart of any CMS is the ability to let non-technical users create, edit, and publish content easily. So this is a growing thing. So we no longer want somebody with coding or software skills. That we just want somebody specialized in content. So it gives marketing teams control over messaging and updates without IT dependency. Here's another thing. So customer expectation changed. So customers don't want static content anymore. They want relevance. They expect personalized recommendations, which is tricky because now people want everything personalized, but they don't want to accept cookies or they don't want to share things, which is very difficult for companies, organizations to do that, for websites to do that. So offers that make sense for their context and a consistent experience, whether they are on your side, your mobile app, or even speaking to your sales team. So while CMS is still foundational, you can't have a digital experience without managing content. So it's no longer sufficient on its own. And for organization whose ambition is simply publishing, CMS could still be enough. But for anyone looking to start engaging their customers to grow the pipeline or improve retention, CMS alone, it's like driving a car in a first gear. So you need more. So that's why most organizations eventually outgrow CMS. So why move beyond CMS? What pushes organizations to move CMS? Two main forces, as we've been talking about: customer expectations and business demands. So here in this image, we can see a small ball symbolizing CMS. And the large ball, we can say it's the XP and the composable future. So the fish is mid-jump, means your organizations or marketer in motion, symbolizes your growth and readiness. So static content is no longer meeting customer expectations. Campaign speed is very critical. And so customer expectations, today digital consumers want personalization, omni-channel consistency, and real-time responsiveness. So if your CMS is delivering the same homepage to everyone, whether they're a first-time visitor or a loyal client, you're not meeting their expectations. So McKinsey say that research shows 71% of consumers expect personalization. A few years before, it was a nice to have to personalize your website, this experience. Now it's a must have. So 76% get frustrated when that doesn't happen. So 76% of your customers get frustrated when that happens. We have business demands, so marketing team needs agility. So campaigns take a long time, let's say 6 weeks to launch, are simply too slow. So in a competitive market, being able to test, iterate, and adjust quickly is a survival skill. CMS without capabilities become a bottleneck. And we cannot forget about compliance and privacy. So regulations like GDPR, CCPA, require businesses to manage consent and respect user choices. So a plain CMS wasn't designed for this. Putting simply, organizations move beyond CMS, not because it fails, but because the context around it has changed. Customers demand more, competitors innovate faster, and leadership expects measurable ROI from digital environments. So that's when CMS limitations become clear. Then that's the conversation start shift to DXPs or even to composable. So I'm just going to share um, a an experience, a workflow that fails, let's say. So it's a journey that many have experienced either with clients or with their organization, and it's something that to think about. Um, so let's say it starts with the content author. They just finished the piece and submit it to review. Then it arrives to the editor inbox, and the editor needs to make sure that it matches the brand guidelines. This is before stream. So they open the content, make their changes, save it, and then realize an image is wrong. So the image lives in a different system, a standalone digital asset management tool. So the editor emails the creative team asking for a new image. Then the creative team has their own backlog. So then they find the image, resize it for the website, send an email back with it. The editor finally gets the image, but now they need to upload it to the CMS. For monolithic systems, this is often a clunky manual process that requires precise steps to avoid breaking a page layout. They upload it, link it, and submit the content for the next stage, which is legal and compliance review. Then the content lands in the legal team's inbox. They review the copy, and for regulatory language and banned claims, and they find a small issue and request a change. But they don't have direct access to the CMS, so they send their feedback via Word document when redlining and a series of emails, maybe. And this triggers another cycle. So the content author receives the email, makes the changes in the CMS, resubmit it, the legal team reviews it again. Finally, after multiple rounds of this back and forth, content is approved. They are ready to approve it, but the content was for a promotion that was supposed to launch a week ago. So the timing is now off. So marketing team realizes the delay and decides they need to send an email blast to everybody announcing the product. So they need to manually re-enter the approved content into separate email marketing platforms. And it's another manual error-prone process. So instead of relying on manual processes and disjointed systems, Their new Sitecore platform could centralize content and assets. So you could have it either in Content Hub, let's say, as a single source of truth, or you can automate workflows in XP. So automated approval chains and AI-powered optimizations to reduce this manual work. Decouple content from experience a bit. So headless nature of XM Cloud allows a single piece of content to be pushed out on the website, a mobile app, or an email campaign, not with XM Cloud, but let's say with Send, and also without a single manual copy paste. So this story of failing authoring workflow is not about the technology failing, but it's the strategy that the organization is having. So by moving to a modern composable architecture, the organization turned their content creation from a bottleneck into a powerful engine of growth. So here is related to Sitecore, basically. So why Sitecore is built for this journey. So on the left, we can say we go back to 2001. So where HTML, static HTML was dominating, Sitecore championed this dynamic content delivery, and Sitecore started as a CMS, giving marketers control over content with the experience manager, with the content editor, let's say. In the middle, Sitecore XP became a full DXP, a full digital experience platform with analytics, personalization, marketing automation, testing, and optimization. Of course, is not as much as if you would go beyond, of course, using other tools specialized in analytics, specialized in personalization. So Sitecore now offers a full composable SaaS portfolio. So you have XM Cloud, you have Search, Personalized, CDP, Connect, Content Hub, Order Cloud. So they give you a flexibility to adopt at your own pace. So that's why Sitecore is the only, well, it's a very well-known, a big vendor that truly supports the whole journey without forcing, hey, you need to break everything and go to the next step. So one thing is, okay, that's great, but how do we jump from CMS to Composable? And that's where Sitecore gives you a big hand. It's uniquely positioned. So it can show you if you're in Sitecore XP, you already have an enterprise-grade DXP. So with personalization and analytics, you have different campaign tools. So if you want to go composable, this SaaS portfolio that I mentioned is you have Content Hub. And Content Hub already has a big sub-portfolio, we can say. We have the digital asset manager, the DAM. We have a product content management, so where you can centralize and automate the management and maintenance of all the customer-facing brand content, so assets, description, specification, SKUs for your products. Then you have the content marketing platform, the CMP, where you plan, manage, and collaborate your content strategy. So you can create pages there. It's simpler than XP or XM or XP, of course. Then you have what's the other one? Oh yeah, the marketing resource management. So the MRM, where you can align your marketing teams, processes, make sure everything is effective, and you ensure your outcomes. You also have your web to print. So you generate custom printable products sheets using all these available content. Then you have Sitecore CDP. So it serves as the foundation. This is not Content Hub. Until the last one, it was Content Hub, just a thing. Then you have Sitecore CDP, which you make use of your customer intelligence by the data on your customers by unifying data from various sources, so website, mobiles, CRM, marketing, automation, everything into a single customer profile. So this unified data is crucial for personalization and targeted engagement in a composable environment. Then you have Sitecore Personalize, which will empower organizations to build flexible and scalable and tailorable digital experience solutions by integrating a specialized personalization engine, so into their existing or evolving tech stack. Then we have Order Cloud. So you have your own commerce solution with API first, headless for B2B, B2C, B2X. Then you have search, so you can provide more accurate and relevant results with AI-assisted search across all your websites. And then you have Send. I know Send has been sold, but they are still providing the, not Send, but MooSend, which provided the service for Send. They've been sold, but they will still provide, according to Sitecore's message, they will still provide the best-in-class email marketing platform and will deliver personalized messaging that improves the customer interaction and builds this loyalty to your organization. So all these different uh, products from Sitecore lets you plug in what you need, uh, and when you need it, of course. And because Sitecore is API first and headless ready, you don't have to re-platform everything overnight. So you can start modularly. So you can add composable service into your existing XP stack. So flexibility is critical. It means you're not locked in, but you're also not left to figure out on your own. So you can start where you are and grow at your pace. So what are the DXP capabilities that we have, or that maybe you have? DXP isn't just about content, it's about orchestrating experiences. It combines several key capabilities. So as we mentioned, so you have the ability to show different content to different audiences based on behavior or profile. You are measuring not just visits, but journeys and outcomes. So this is key. You need to work together with the IT, with the marketing team to know what you want to measure, see if with XPs you get to measure what you need. You have all these different ways to, you have the engagement value that you can select. Okay, every time a user goes through this journey, I wanna, let's say, some points to this journey, and we can you can get together and define, okay, these pages are not being used, let's improve them or let's delete them. You have automation that triggers campaigns across multiple channels, and omni-channel delivery, so publishing to web, mobile. You can also have to for email or moving beyond from a central hub. Sorry. So for marketers, DXP is transformational. Imagine being able to design a campaign where a visitor downloads a white paper, gets a personalized follow-up email, and then sees a tailored offer next time they visit your site. That kind of journey simply isn't possible with just a CMS. The promise from DXP is integration of all this experience. So instead of managing disconnected tools, one for email, one for web, one for analytics, you have a suite that works together. And of course, the XPs aren't perfect. They can be complex. They require governance, and implementation can take a long time. Upgrades take a long time, migrations as well. But for many organizations, the XPs represented their first leap from publishing content to managing experiences. And this is why the XP market continues to grow strongly. So organizations still see value in that integrated model, even as composable options emerge. So now let's go to composable. Composable architecture flips the traditional model on its head. So instead of buying one big vendor suite that tries to do everything, you pick the best tool for each job. So CMS, CDP, personalization engine, commerce, search, you name it, and assembles them together like Lego blocks. So what benefits do we have? So we have flexibility, so you're not tied to one vendor's roadmap. Faster innovation, you can swap out a tool when a better one appears. So it's not a real lock-in because you own your own architecture. And this is why Gartner keeps publishing about the concept of composable enterprises and predicting that by 2026, about 70% of organizations will adopt composable DXP approaches. Uh, but here's a thing. So composable isn't just free agility. It comes with responsibility. So you need a solid architecture to make components talk to each other, governance to make integration and avoid duplication. Uh, you need skilled teams that they will be able to handle this orchestration because you have a lot of tools instead of just having just one. And and yeah, the key thing is just not ending up with a bunch of tools together, put together with duct tape where no one has visibility into the whole. So yeah, it's building with Lego blocks, and but you need to have a blueprint and discipline so you can build a skyscraper. But if you just dump all the pieces in the floor and say like, build me a skyscraper, it might not get you the experience that you want. So for enterprises with the right maturity, Composable is a game changer. For those struggling with CMS basics, it may be too premature to move on. And that's why I frame it's a journey. It's a step by step, not a choice which one you should go for. So the roadmap. So what's the most practical piece from today's meeting is how do you move from one step to the other? So how do you move along this journey? So like I frame it here, we have 5 steps. And as I go through them, think about your own organization and which one you are there or which one you should start aligning there. So you have audit, so where you are today. Before you can move forward, you need to have a clear picture of your current state. So too often I've seen organizations that they jump into technology without really understanding where they are starting from because somebody thought, hey, let's go for that. Everybody's doing it. So what are your digital strengths? So where are the gaps? So for example, you might have a CMS that handles content well, but maybe personalization is limited to very basic rules. So, or maybe your analytics data has no governance. So it's not actually being used for decisions. You just have analytics. Yeah, we have analytics, but you're not using them or you don't know how to use them. So this needs to be an honest assessment. So it's like doing a health check before running a marathon. So it's for your organization. So you need to know your baseline before you set ambitious goals. And if you're going for if you're currently on full on-premise solution, you need to start asking, why is that? That's the key thing. So why are we using this? Is it mandatory for your business? If not, maybe start thinking how to move. Also, it's expensive to move everything. Uh, these migrations might be a pain, but you need to start thinking how to do it and what you want to move to the cloud and start going there. Then you need to align stakeholders. So uh, here's where usually projects break. So marketing, IT, and leadership all need to be on the same page. If marketing wants personalization tomorrow, but IT is struggling with the CMS upgrades, you will have some friction there. If leadership expects immediate ROI, but the team hasn't built any of this foundation, this expectation will crash. So alignment means building a shared language instead of IT talking in infrastructure terms, marketing talking in campaign terms. And so you need to reframe the conversation around outcomes. So make it faster launches, more leads, better customer experience. That's how you get a true buy-in to start moving from one step to the other. And then you need to define outcomes. So too many companies adopt Composable because they heard it's the next big thing. So that's a recipe for wasted investment, angry people complaining with the other team. So instead, define the business outcomes you want. Maybe you want to reduce time to launch campaigns from 12 weeks to 4 or less. Maybe it's increasing customer engagement in a specific segment by 20%. Maybe it's lowering the total cost of ownership by moving away from heavy customization and monolithic upgrades. So when your outcomes are clear, technology becomes a tool to achieve them. And it's not just a shiny object there. Then build modularly. So this is where composable thinking comes in. So even if you're not ready for a full composable DXP, you can start modularly. So you can start with Sitecore XP. You realize, okay, I need to manage better my analytics. So you can go for a best of breed CDP like Sitecore CDP. Or you say, okay, I have enough analytics, or I have another analytics tool. Let's go with personalization. So let's go with Sitecore Personalize. And you keep using your CMS, but you're having all these different options. And, and that's composable in action. So layering value without a whole replatforming. So another example, I've seen a retailer add headless CMS alongside their legacy DXP just to support faster campaign and landing pages. And some of these can come together. So for example, you're adding Content Hub. You have the DAM there. So, and you can also create some content, some landing pages there. So this is a small move that gives the marketing team agility, but still keeping the main side stable. So these are modular steps to de-risk or reduce the risk of the journey. You don't have to just leap to full composable stack, because that usually is like a hit to the to management, like, hey, we can't do that right now. So let's go step by step. Then you need to measure. Remember, what you can't measure, you can't control, and you cannot prove that it worked or didn't work. So it's sometimes it's forgotten, this step. So once you've taken all these steps to reach here, you need to measure your business outcomes. And don't just measure page views or bounce rates. Those are just activity metrics. You need to measure the business value. So are we actually acquiring customer faster? Did we increase the conversion rates after personalization? Is our lifetime or loyalty value growing? So when you connect measurement to revenue and customer experience, then you get credibility in the boardroom. So you can go back to leadership and say, here's what the investment actually delivered. And that's how you secure future budget and grow maturity. No, so yeah, please keep in mind this. Reflect for a moment for your organization, which step you're on. Are you still auditing? Are you stuck on stakeholder alignment? Or are you already modular and looking at optimization? So if you know where you are, you can chart the next move. So that's the essence of the roadmap. Know where you are, where to move. So it's not a one size fit all. So it's stage, maturity, aligned to your business reality. Sorry. So this is a quick case study. So you have a global B2B manufacturer that started on CMS. It worked for content publishing, but all customers, they see the same homepage, and that keeps leads flat. So they moved to a DXP. Suddenly you can segment audiences by industry and or by device, for example, and then you can address some. I have some clients that they want to focus on mobile, and when we check analytics, most of their clients are using desktop, for example, because that's the major segment of that industry is using desktop. So you need to keep in mind those things. So financial service clients, in this case, so differently, and so you need to focus your efforts based on your analytics. And later, in this case, they are layered composable tools. So they use CDP. And now the local teams have different regions. They could run agile campaigns without breaking a global governance. And you see, this journey wasn't just rip and replace. It was through maturity, and each step added measurable business value. Another big example that usually Sitecore shares a lot, and I remember I saw this on the symposium that I went, it was 2023. It was about L'Oreal. So L'Oreal this big makeup company, let's say from Paris. For years, uh, their main business relied on the traditional CMS, a big monolithic engine that powered their websites. It served their purpose, but in a world becoming mobile, multi-channel, and customer-centric, it started showing its limitations. So this is a big company with over 36 brands, more than 100 countries, and they needed a way to manage their digital presence faster, more agile and more personal, and keep in mind the brand also. So they began a journey moving from a simple CMS to a DXP, and this was a major step. It wasn't just a technology upgrade, it was a shift in philosophy. And so the DXP recognized that the customer journey isn't just one channel website experience anymore. It's a complex multi-channel, and it brings all these capabilities under one roof. So integrating content management, analytics, personalization, and marketing automation. So they created this website factory, a common platform that provided reusable website templates for hundreds of the brand sites, and it was a huge leap forward. But you see, the world kept evolving, and the digital world, and this DXP suite was no longer enough. So they started moving to composable DXP. So they moved from a single integrated platform to a modular architecture built on Mac principles, so microservices, API first, cloud native, and headless. And what were the results? So they massive gains. So they reduced around 120,000 hours of manual work. They reduced costs by 75%. So for content localization, faster time to market, up to 600%, no, 60% faster, sorry, and real-time personalization. So as you can see, even a huge company like this went step by step. And these are some key takeaways. So three things that I want you to remember is CMS, DXP, and Composable. They are not rivals. They are maturity stages. The right stage depends on your business readiness and not just what's hype. Composable delivers agility, but only when your organization has the maturity to handle it. And if you live today with something is stop chasing trends and instead build a roadmap that delivers real outcomes. So that's a really big strategic thing to have a roadmap. Okay, where do we want to arrive, and what steps do we need to take? Steps that we can measure and make sure that we're going on the right track. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for attending. So we can start with some of your questions if you have any.
Open for questions. You can ask questions now. Augusto, that was really a great presentation, I would say, because every solution is unique and we are supposed to evolve, not just rip and replace. So I think that's a really great presentation to understand and move ahead, not just going ahead with the product without looking into pros and cons, the current situation and current solution as well. And that I think that is what key takeaway for me today.
Thank you, Yamini.
Yeah, guys, any
Yeah,
questions?
and that is something that I found with different clients that happened. As I mentioned, like usually the thing is somebody comes and say like, hey, I need to move to composable. So what do we need? And it's like, it's not why do we need to go first? Like
Yeah,
step by
exactly. Why?
step, like because it could
Yes.
be like I have like yeah, you know what? We should go everything to the cloud. And it's like, but we can't because we have these restrictions on legal restrictions. Oh, I didn't know. So yeah, step by step,
Yeah.
align all the different sections. So IT, marketing, leadership. so that way everybody is on board with the new technology also.
Yes, I think this is one of the nicest presentation where I got a deep dive into like from last decade journey of Sitecore and also how we need to evolve also. So I think that is really great presentation.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you,
you very
Augusto.
much.
If no questions, then we are good to go
Okay, thank you
for
everybody.
today. Thank
Take
you all.
care.
Bye bye. Meet you next session.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.